Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video, and I think I'm starting to fall in love again. I told myself I wouldn't let it happen again after how terrible it was the first time with the breakup and everything, but I think I'm going to have to just let it happen here. Discipline Priest has captured my heart for a second time. Thankfully, since the nerfs to Holy Priest, Discipline Priest is really getting a chance to shine in what could be the most fun patch to play this specialization at the moment, and I'm really sad that it got overshadowed by Holy so heavily for the last season, but at least, finally, in the positivity for the final season, Season 4 of Shadowlands, Discipline Priest is going to have a good competitive shot and still be the most fun of any specialization in the game. You're also going to get the advantage of being a healer, which means you can get groups really easily in LFG. So whenever I've just logged on, I can play the most fun spec and really easily get groups. I mean, like, this is just a win-win for me. The main reasons that Discipline Priest is so much fun right now is the 4 set bonuses that they've introduced to the game from your tier sets. You're going to get, when you use an instant cast Radiance, because you're going to have honor talents to make your Radiance instant, you're going to have a chance to power up your penance to this Omega Ray Cannon penance blasting destruction world destroying level of insane damage and awesomeness, as well as healing if you want to use it for healing, but we all know we want to do damage. And I've built my priest to do maximum damage. I'm taking like no defensive honor talents, I'm taking no defense whatsoever, full offense disc priest, high risk, high reward. My main goal is to get atonement up with power word shield onto as many targets as I can. We get leap feared here by the warrior, and this could be a bit of a scary start. Our rogue gets a sap onto the discipline priest and immediately opens up onto the rep paladin, who is still pretty far away from our warlock, so we're not going to use our Will of Forsaken here. We want to save that Will of Forsaken potentially for a priest fear later on, as there's not really enough pressure to justify it. As we're running up the ramp here, we're going to get in line of sight, use that instant cast Radiance, and now you see that light on our screen. That means a big penance. We can use that. It's like lay on hands penance if you use it as a heal. When you're in a stun, you want to use defensive cooldowns like pain suppression, because you can still access those in this specific type of crowd control. This is going to allow your partners to stabilize. As you come out of that initial crowd control, I like chaining it into a rapture. This is going to let me move around the map while sustaining my teammates and get into a better position, whether it be offensively or defensively. Here, our teammates are getting low, so we can get a Radiance pretty soon. That's going to allow us to top most of our teammates and also line up for another big penance. It's kind of a difficult gamble because I want to be pressing Radiance on cooldown whenever penance is up to try and fish for those big penances, but it's going to run you out of mana when you do that, so you got to balance it. Some games I like to go all in and just go crazy with the Radiances. Other games I'll hold on to it and wait for it. Here I've used it aggressively, and watch this. Boom! Penance onto the Ret Paladin, just blasting him down every tick. We're watching this in slow motion. We can chain that into Mind Games as the vent here, because of course we're going full offense. Discipline Priest, and between that Penance and Mind Games, we've blasted through, got Divine Shield. We can then outplay that by mass dispelling it away, reapplying our dots and getting ready for the next attack. We're communicating with our Warlock to try and use our Demonic Gateway on the next Spear of Bastion. I'm not playing Big Barrier with this specific build, so it's a very minor amount of damage reduction. I'm kind of planting it here to try and chain us into the next Demonic Gateway, which we're going to use for the Spear of Bastion, as I was talking about. Here we go for another Radiance. We've got that big white icon on the top of our screen, these purple bars on the side. That means the Omega Cannon is here. We've got to get some interrupts out of the way. We're going to use Smite to bait the interrupts, and then just channel the Penance into the Ret Paladin, just blasting him down to half HP with just one spell. Super satisfying ability. There have been some builds that I've seen with Discipline Priest starting to creep up using Mindbender instead of Solace. Solace is still one of my favorite abilities, but I'm going to probably have to shift into the Mindbender meta with how your mana management is. Now look at this Kidney Shot, Penance, Omega Cannon, massive damage, Healer's Feared, Shadower Death. Just insane damage and pressure output from this specialization at the moment. The only thing about it is that you are going to run out of mana, but I do suppose that it can't be all strengths. You're going to need some weaknesses with this specialization and this build, but it is more than a tremendous amount of fun. You definitely need to be checking out the Discipline Priest if you haven't already moving forward into this expansion. It's just, you're going to be able to create so many exciting moments, get offensive. I've really enjoyed playing with Affliction Warlocks, as you can see in these clips that I'm kind of jumping through. through really quickly from last night. The Affliction Warlock's going to just soften up targets, and then your penances can go in for the big kills. We brought in an Assassination Rogue for the Kidney Shot Vendetta burst to try and couple on top of the damage that you're able to put out with an Affliction Warlock. It's just super satisfying watching all these chains of light just blast into the target. Like I said, this is the first day that I jumped back onto the specialization in a long time, but it is still just a super fun specialization. It almost makes me regret having dropped it before, but to be fair, the way that the healer balance was, like, there was just not really going to be a way that you could really fit in a Discipline Priest with the way that the game had been. But now in this patch, I think that this is your opportunity to get it to shine. I really want to try with like an Elemental Shaman and an Affliction Warlock, just bringing as much damage as possible, because look at the pressure that we've got across the board. 2 targets at half health in this clip. Healer is crowd controlled. We get freezing trapped. We trinket aggressively here. We're going to Rapture, and we can use our Radiance to try and power up a penance here when the Astral Shift falls onto the Restoration Shaman, and then we can just kind of snipe around the corner with that move cast. It's almost like you're using an SMG or something to just like blast a ton of damage out really rapidly. If the Priest dispels an Unstable Affliction on a Mind Games, it's going to put you really far ahead. That's why I like the synergy of the Mind Games. If we can make swaps to healers, the healer's caught out in the open. Probably should have tried to power this up. I didn't want a Radiance because my team was at full HP, and that's kind of the big gamble, like I was saying, that you're going to have to make with a Discipline Priest, is when do you want to be using those Radiances. Now my Rogue is low HP, so using a Radiance is going to make sense. It's also going to power up my penance if I need to use it potentially defensively. We're going to chain this into a Pain Suppression, get our team stable, double Radiance, big powered up penance, blasting damage into the Hunter. If he wasn't in range to kick me, that may have just killed him, because you can chain it into a Shadow Word Death at that point when they're so critically low. We get Feared here. We have Will of Forsaken coming up halfway through, so we could Will halfway through this. I think I don't Will because I didn't have Shadow Word Death. Hunter ends up missing the trap, so it's still going to put us in a decent position. But just look at the pressure across the board. Priests at half HP, Shamans at half HP. We're just going to sit in the back line, sniping penances, fishing for Mind Games. And now if the Priest dispels UA, the Priest is going to die to the UA dispel. But if he doesn't, then the Shaman can't heal, so he dispels the UA. The Priest is down at 20%. The Shaman is still just going down to the Rogue damage. We can power up Penance here. We use Shadow Word Death. We use our Penance here onto the Priest. Probably should have used a Radiance before that one. Just like trying to figure out the best moments to fit in these Radiance charges offensively to get these big penances is the thing that I'm starting to try and figure out, because it's completely new to this patch, or new to this set bonus, and it's been so long since we've been able to play the Discipline Priest. So that's like my number one thing to try and figure out. But you can see even in this clip, I'm doing more damage than the Enhancement Shaman, and oddly more healing as well, although it's pretty close. You can do a ton of damage output with this spec. You can build it defensively, offensively, a ton of different little customizations you can do with it. I would say that you can fit in a lot of different compositions. Likely Hunter and Feral Druid's like your best go-to, but I'm really having fun trying to fit in with an Affliction Warlock and utilizing this Mind Games maximum damage build. And I like Warlocks because you have Leap of Faith to grip the Warlock and give them extra mobility that they otherwise wouldn't have in a lot of cases, which is actually really good synergy for them. And they can run around and kite while you're healing them with Atonement, so they don't have that drawback of like the Shaman, Earthenwall Totems trying to keep them pinned in one place, like other healers would with a Warlock, and Warlocks are looking really good right now. But other than that, I just wanted to give you a quick little insight into what I'm considering to be the most fun specialization right now for Shadowlands Season 4. If you like this video, please thumbs it up and comment down below with your thoughts. What are you thinking? Are you going to pick up the Discipline Priest? If you like these videos, then please hit the subscribe button. I am bringing guides, updates, news, patch changes, everything here to the channel to be as excellent of a resource as I can be to you to enhance your gameplay, and I am trying my best to get to the 100,000 subscriber goal, so you would be helping me out greatly in achieving that, and I would appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.